Bienvenidos a otro episodio de Contextuales desde Adentro. Hoy tengo el placer de tener acá en este episodio a Raúl Manzione, un psicólogo clínico y psicoterapeuta contextual brasileño que es referente tanto en América Latina como también en el Brasil de la terapia de aceptación y compromiso. Él es Peer Reviewed Trainer, que es un reconocimiento internacional que acredita la excelencia en la enseñanza en la terapia de aceptación y compromiso. También es psicólogo por la Universidad Presbiteriana Mackenzie y especialista en clínica analítico-conductual y máster en análisis de la conducta aplicada. Aparte de su labor clínica, en su proyecto LabAct dedica gran parte de sus esfuerzos a supervisar y entrenar a otros terapeutas. Y hoy queremos hablar un poco con Raúl de lo que es el desarrollo de las habilidades clínicas en los terapeutas y los desafíos que tenemos para ello en América Latina. Sin más preámbulos, vamos a ello.
Contextuales desde Adentro, tu lugar para conectar con la psicología contextual. Un podcast de Ana Karenina Alvarenga.
Okay, thank you, Raúl, for being here and saying yes to Contextuales desde Adentro. I'm just so grateful that you're here. Honestly, it's a privilege. You're one of this Latin Americans reference, and I got to meet your work in the WorldCon in Buenos Aires. So since then I've been following you, and I really admire you, and so thank you for being here.
I'm really honored to hear this because it comes comes a little bit as a surprise to me because I think like I'm just someone that enjoys this work a lot, that cares about this work a lot, and I just really trying to connect with people. So like, thank you. Like I'm really flattered to hear. I mean, thank you so much.
Okay, and I can tell that you really like this work, and that you try to connect with people, and that you care about it. So I'm curious, how did you become interested in ACT?
Ooh, it goes a long way actually. So like, long story short, I got introduced to behavior analysis back in my undergrad when I got into psychology, I think in 2011 or something, and then it was my first discipline, like before my first approach actually before psychoanalysis, Gestalt or any, I got like introduced to behavior analysis. I
Okay.
had a wonderful teacher, and she taught me about this worldview, and I got so hooked by it. And then as things, as during my undergraduate training, things went by, I got introduced to functional analytic psychotherapy, so FAP.
Mm-hmm.
It was very interesting. I think like there's a big positive influence in my work as well. But and if you prefer, there was one time which the same teacher I told you before, like a student confronted her regarding like behavior therapy and more deeper issues.
Okay.
For instance, she confronted her by saying, "So, but how does behavior therapy treat someone with cancer? How can you assist someone with a terminal illness?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and she just replied with, "Well, there's acceptance and commitment therapy."
Okay.
Like, oh, and then like that's an interesting name. And then I went reading. I went to and back in Brazil that was 2014. So back then, like we had like two or three books. There
Yeah.
wasn't like so many. There wasn't a big community as there is today. But I went reading. I got very interested in ACT, and then I started to invest in it. But I think like when things like really took a turn for me, I could see the impact that it had on my clients as well when I started seeing clients. Uh, because here in Brazil, like you're able to see clients who have your own private practice after
Okay.
5 years of training. You do just your bachelor's degree and you're good to go. So I
Okay.
was seeing clients, but I decided to go to ACBS, to the World Conference in 2017, my first World Conference, and then
Okay. So you
I
you
just
go back. like to like that's like 9 years ago.
9 years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah, yeah. And I decided to go to a Kelly's workshop, Kelly Wilson's workshop on
Oh,
ACT and the
yeah.
therapeutic relationship.
That definitely touches your heart.
I mean, that was a blast. Like I cannot explain. Like if you've been to a Kelly's
Yeah,
workshop, you know what I'm talking about. Like
yeah.
oh, I left this workshop thinking it was a 2 day intensive. Like and they're like, oh, this is ACT, and this is what I want to do with my clients. And so long story short, that was it. And then afterwards, like I met my mentor, Robin Walser. I've been,
Yeah.
doing consultation with her for the past 8 years. So,
Okay.
so that's my story. There are lots of in-betweens that I could get into, but
Yeah.
this is basically my story of ACT so far.
Oh,
Have
okay.
wonderful people along the way,
I mean, you go a long way already. I mean, it's 2026. Like you've been in this work for like 10 years now. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 10
And
years,
you're
yeah.
one of the few peer-reviewed ACT trainers we've got in Latin America. We have like seven. And I want to know how has that journey been for you? Because that's very
Yeah. It was one of the, yeah, that's an interesting question. Like, and interestingly enough, I don't have many deep answers for that. Like when I got involved with ACBS, I saw there's this community of peer review trainers. It felt like, oh, these select few people that are very skilled in this therapy, and I was very new to this therapy, to this whole world.
Mhm.
And I thought to myself, like, I want to join this group someday. What are the steps? What do I gotta do? Oh, I gotta be very adept in ACT.
Mm-hmm.
So I went like, okay, I wanna pursue this route. That's one of the reasons why I contacted Robin and met some other people. Like I got really in touch with the
It,
community, but so I when my interest in it was in 2019, but and ever since then I decided to, well, I gotta give my workshops and my classes. I gotta teach people so I can have a repertoire. I applied. I built up my whole portfolio and material, and then I applied back in. I think I applied to it like I sent out the materials in 21, and then got accepted in 2022. In the same week, like three events happened. Like I got my master's degree, I got, at the same time I got accepted as a peer review trainer, and I got married
oh
in the
my
span of
God.
one week. Like all happened at once, so it was a
Okay, it
magical
was all
moment.
happening at the same time.
But I learned a lot for sure. Like, and I learned like act in a deep way. Like, and so like, oh, I really get it now. I get it in the sense like I'm not. I wouldn't call myself like an expert, but I would just say like, uh, so part of my motivation for becoming a peer review trainer was like to really get to understand this whole work from the inside out.
Mhm.
And so it was a very rewarding experience.
Mhm.
So yeah, and it's been 4 years already since I got it, but yeah, I mean it's been a very rewarding journey, I could say.
And I'm glad you did it. Like I said, you're one of the few that we have. We don't have very many, and that's a reason of. I mean, we're proud of that. I'm proud of that. Of having people from Latin America representing us and teaching and uh, in that way. What do you think are the biggest challenges um, for like adapting ACT, for being like culturally sound and adapting to challenges in our culture? I know that Brazil and we're not all the same in Latin America, but
Yeah.
we do share background, and we do share a lot of things that. So how could you? What are the challenges that you find there?
Well, first we let's just take a look at this very moment right now. Like we're speaking in English, right?
Yes.
Your language is Spanish, my language is Portuguese, but like, but I mean this as a way of like, I think language can be a huge barrier for folks, like,
Yes.
because even though like let's say, like, even though in Brazil there are lots of books and courses as of right now, uh, but the whole vast literature of research and papers and getting access of getting involved with the community actually means like you gotta be able to speak in English
Yes.
to an extent. I mean, like, so it's not the majority of us. We know this. I think this can be a huge barrier, and so and another challenge would be like the investment you gotta make. Like I learned that from Robin once. Like there's nothing special in you becoming a skill act therapist. You just gotta make an investment. Like really invest money on it.
Money and
And
time.
yeah, because you gotta get training, consultation, an expert consultation, and getting feedback, and that costs time and money. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I think, I mean, thinking about more contextual in terms of social demographics, like I think these are some of the challenges, but the other challenges have been, I think like it, and part of my intent was like, the lack of mentoring opportunities we have for
Yes.
countries that aren't weird countries. Like think about countries like, I think recently we got the first Asian peer review trainer, which is a lady
Yes.
from India, Sindhu, by the way. So, but it takes some time, like because the lack of mentoring opportunities, and you gotta get connected to the community somehow. And doing this work alone is, I don't think it's possible to get, to do this alone without feedback. So I think I mentioned Robin because she helped me a lot, and
Yeah, I know,
there was
Rob.
a time I got trained by Emily Sanders as well. So she was a
Mhm.
major figure in my training as well. But without peer support, like, and I think this is something that there's peer support, and I also feel the lack of. I mean, and I think there's also this piece of, I don't know how it's in the majority of Latin America outside Brazil. I mean, but we have a lot of courses right now and training programs that uh, they aren't really training programs. Like they're more like
Mm-hmm.
teaching didactic stuff. Like and people don't really grasp with the essence of what this work is about.
Yeah.
And so I think there are some. I think the lack of access can be a real thing. So there
Yeah.
are some initiatives out there. So
And
with pairing peers, with mentors and all that, but it's still like it goes a long way. But
Raul, one thing that I think, and I want to add to what your answer, because I agree with everything you said. Lack of mentoring. I mean, you at first you feel so lost because you're interested, you are, energized because act is, I mean, if you really like it, captures your motivation and everything, but it's really hard to find mentoring out like in Latin America. And at the same time, it's like people want to learn it from books, and just learning it from the book and from the paper is just so it's not really possible. You need other people. So I think that's one of the biggest barriers as well. And you can find yourself a little bit lost at first. So yeah.
yeah, who can guide me, right? Like it's hard to find, but
Now
uh,
it's way, I think that in the last few years it's it's become a lot more I mean, there are a lot of things that are more available.
yeah, we've been building a community. Our chapters from ACBS in Latin America are very active in that regard. So I think things are way better now than when I when I started,
Yeah.
and which it wasn't long ago. 10 years ago isn't a great time.
No,
Like a
it's
lot of people
not. You've done a
feels
lot
like
in 10
yesterday.
years.
Yeah, but it kind of feels like yesterday, but like the community did a lot as well. Like, this community grew a lot. There's more, even this very own podcast that you're hosting right now. Like this is resourcing for people. Like it's
Hmm.
people can get in touch. There are study groups, there are peer support, and then people can get interested in. And there are more opportunities for sure. Like I mean, the process of becoming a trainer is a very hard process either way, but you gotta get engaged with it. But there's more opportunities for sure. I'm really glad for that.
Yeah. Well, and finally, I'd like to know what would, if you could just imagine that you could talk to you could have one conversation with every single therapist from Latin America. Of course, this is just an imaginary.
Ooh, yeah, yeah,
But since like people who are starting or are wanting to move from an intermediate place to an advanced place and who are struggling with it, what do you think is the most important thing for them to know or remember, or what message would you like to give them?
yeah. I think there's no, you gotta accept or be open to the fact that there's no end point,
Yeah.
and don't treat it as, try not to treat it as, achievements you gotta get, like improvement as achievements, but more as the process of becoming and learning this therapy. Because even the whole, not saying that you said something wrong, but even the whole like beginner, intermediate,
Yeah.
advanced, like might feel like steps, and uh, to acknowledge that there's this, as soon as you get into this path, there's not like an end to it. I mean, you can retire and decide to do another profession, but if you want to go with it, like there won't be a point where you go like, yeah, I learned everything, because yeah, I mean, I think I know everything about the basics of ACT, but there's this process of applying to your own personal life, to your relationships with others, and this is learning as well,
Yeah.
and that impacts your work directly, because the thing like the thing that I bring the most, and my clients resonate with that, is I'm skilled, I'm knowledgeable, but it's more about the presence. They talk a lot about the presence and how I'm a caring therapist. Like I try to do the best every session, and they notice that, like, and um, you know, don't seek out titles, if I could say. Like, I mean, go for them, because if you gotta go for them, but like, don't, your clients are like, won't be seeking you for your services for where you studied, or what are the diplomas you got on the background, nothing like that. But and don't give up, really, don't give up, like, because I think there were plenty of times in which I thought like, why am I doing this? Like, maybe I should just drop it. Like, so yeah. Now I think I don't know if that's a summary, but I think that's what goes through my mind.
And I think, Raul, thank you for bringing that up, because it's like one of the things that made me stay in acceptance and commitment therapy and FAB, and is that fact that I could be a human being, like an entire human being who thinks every now and then, why am I doing this? Am I enough? There is
Right?
space for me to be human, and to have these thoughts and not, you know, consider them as something pathological. And I think that's, if I truly, own that, and I see the person who is in front of me just as an equal, that's what matters the most to me, and what, helped me, be here. And I don't know if we're sufficiently opened to about the fact that we all have these difficult thoughts and feelings. And in I know that we have normalized that a lot more than we used to, but I do honestly think that doubts are part of the way.
Yeah.
Doubts are really part of the way. So thank you for bringing that up. And it just, that's something that I usually talk about it. The fact that I'm not enough is a thought that that I usually have, and I wonder sometimes, am I doing this well? And okay,
Yeah.
there is a space for that, and I can still be a therapist and show up for my clients and with that. So thank you.
Right. I mean, we cannot teach. So we gotta do the things that we talk to people, like walk the talk, as you'd say, right?
Mhm.
And especially, I mean, right now, I've been going through a bit of a tough time in a personal life, and my life is like it's not bad, but like, there was a passing in my family, and then it was a very rough week undergoing, and I noticed myself being a little bit more inflexible with some things, or having some poor night sleeps,
Yeah.
or not being on, on the straight line that I suppose that like supposedly have to walk.
Yeah.
And I feel like the beauty of it, of, thinking about committed actions for me, like as I apply it to my personal life, especially going through some rough times, like we all have them.
Which will
You
have.
know, it is not like so much about like staying in line for the whole time, and it's more of like choosing to reconnect, choosing to, get back on the path you were, and like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that comes out as a sin. I mean, like it's okay to avoid. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with
It-
avoidance. Like it's a matter of survival, like we
Yeah.
developed that as a survival skill, but
Yeah.
like don't be so harsh on yourself for being flexible at times, like
Mhm.
because we're all bound to it, like we will be, and
Mhm.
recognizing that, like I said, is free.
Okay. Okay. So, now I know that you said, like you just said, and it's just my mind trying to put things on. If you
Yeah, yeah.
if you go back to the beginning, your beginning years as an ag therapist, what were the hardest skills and to develop?
You know, uh, it's a tricky question for me, because like I think I read, like, I wouldn't say all the books, but like I knew every skill, I knew every technique, I sort of like memorized everything, but which was one of the things like I learned from Robin, like when I got, started doing consultation with her,
Yeah.
like the first thing she told me to is like, and I was ready for, like, oh, what
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do, the formulations that they're, yeah, I want you just just go to your sessions for a whole month. Just be there. Don't formulate, don't take notes, don't do just be with your clients. Don't do any technique, don't do any metaphors. Like, not forbidding you to say, like, just be in session. Like, that was like, oh, I think this is the hardest skill, like, just to, and and I think this is the piece where like where Robin taught me a lot, and I learned a lot from it, like, which is, you know I think the best moment of saying something and being very attuned to someone else, like, I think this technique, like, is the toughest to learn, because nowadays when I look at my practice, and even as of right now I could speak, like, is I say something when I don't know what to say. Like, I'm not thinking much about words, and if I'm really connected to the other individual, like, in front of me, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to think too much, and I can rely some more on my gut feelings. Like, it talks about this presence in the room. I think this
Mm-hmm.
is
It's the
it's hard.
naturalness.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to learn, because like there's like there's no specific way to teach it. Like,
Mm-hmm. No.
if you think about if you think about like deliberate practice, for
Yeah.
example, like, it's a skill that I don't feel like, how can you fragment this presence? Like, now the skill is be present. Like, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think there are other ways, like, for learning this. Like, you just got to expose yourself to clients, and failure as well, and not succeeding, and frustration, and be there another day, another time, and just going with it.
And
You know.
Raul, again, like as act therapists, we say failure, frustration so openly. Isn't it? Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah,
We're
right.
we're not afraid of those words. I think like no, it doesn't mean that we like them, but I think that being open to it, like we're not, you don't have to be like the master act therapist in the room. You just have to be there for another human being.
Yeah, I mean, and especially, I think frustration. I hold it as a special feeling, because it tells you that you're trying to do something, you're just not achieving it,
Mhm.
but I mean, it means like, yeah, I'm
You're
attempting,
you're
but
working.
my reinforcers are just not there. But it tells you, like, well, there's something about this variation that you're trying, that, this is like what I mean by don't give up, like,
Mhm.
uh, So I think like we talk about it a lot, and in terms of like, yeah, what am I trying to achieve?
Okay. What do you think is the most rewarding part of being an ACT trainer and a supervisor for other therapists?
wow, the most. I don't know. I mean,
I mean, or one of the most. You don't have to find it like in
yeah,
the.
no, no, no. I feel, I know. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, like, well, I think reaching out to others and being able, like, thinking about this very moment that we're having right now.
Mhm,
Like, I think this wouldn't be possible if I wasn't in the roles I am. I wasn't performing the
mhm,
roles I am.
mhm.
I feel like there's a great value in teaching others to me, training others, and following others in their journey because I know this work can be hard. And especially, I like to see the progress of my students, my trainees, my supervisees, you know. I just call everyone student, I know, for
Mhm.
sake of brevity, but my students would be, you know, come to me, they want to learn act or they want to improve their act skills, and over time we can see their progress and seeing them able to bring this work to other people and actually making it work, you know, because I think there's a tricky part in act, which there's this there's this thing about the theory, the
Yeah.
terms we have. This is a whole other topic, but I feel like, you know, there's I think it's very rewarding to see people like actually not just feel them by themselves, because you can go to a workshop and cry and it's kind
Yeah.
of easy. It's kind of easy to make people cry, by the way. I mean, you gotta talk about how you were the lonely kid and your mom wasn't there or something like that. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone cry, everyone has this experience or something,
Yes.
but actually make it like something like, yeah, you can deliver this experience and being a vehicle for, you know, behavior change in other people, like, and and I think this resonates a lot, like, to I think the most rewarding piece is like, yeah, my behavior can change your behavior, and by changing your behavior, you're able to change others people behavior, like in a widespread manner. Like, I mean, like, I feel like I can reach so many people by doing this, indirectly as well. But like, I think this is the sometimes when I feel when I pause to think about it, like, whoa, like, because day to day can be very rushed and I don't pause to think about it. But by the way, thanks for making me think about this as well. But I think this is a little bit the most rewarding piece, you know,
Uh-huh.
as I
Okay.
think of.
I'm glad to see you like connecting with it because I can tell from your face I have this impact. It's like our impact in the world is like the way we choose to walk in the world, and I'm just it's nice to see. Okay, Raul, I will say thank you again for being here. So thank you for saying yes to this interview. Thank you for um, being here, and hopefully I'll have you again with some other topic. And um, now we're gonna go to the second part that we talked about. So thank you.
Gracias por todo.
Si te gustan los vídeos de Contextuales desde Adentro, suscríbete a mi canal y activa la campanita para recibir todas las notificaciones. Y si además me puedes dar un like y dejarme un comentario, me ayudas a seguir creando más contenido para vos. Nos vemos.